Hello, everybody. My name is Adrian SEDLO from SEDLO Law Firm in Luxembourg. And we just wanted to shoot a short video about a question that arises very often when we set up investment fund structures or securitization structures. And this question is, are there any professional secrecy or confidentiality rules that could apply to managers of an ordinary SPV, for instance, a SAL or an SA, so a Société Anonyme, typically vehicles that you can find in a fund structure or as a securitization SPV. So, are there any professional secrecy rules that could apply to the managers of such companies? So, we are not talking about regulated entities like professionals of the financial sector or AFIMs or MANCOs in the UCITS area. We are really talking about ordinary SPVs, SALs, SAs, or other vehicles that would be unregulated and that you would typically find in fund structures. So the first point that you should know is that there is indeed a provision in the Luxembourg law on commercial companies, so it's Article 444/6, which provides in substance that a director of a Société Anonyme must not disclose any information in relation to the Société Anonyme that he manages. Except if the law requires such a disclosure or admits such a disclosure. So this is the basic provision that provides for such a duty not to disclose this information. And this provision, this Article 444/6, is also applicable to managers of a SAL, so of a private limited liability company, and to members of the management body of a partnership limited by shares, so a société en commandite par action. Why is this the case? Because there are cross-references in the law on commercial companies. So it's Article 710/15 for the SAL and 600/2 for the SCA. So there are cross-references which render this applicable also to the managers of a SAL and to the management body of a société en commandite par action. And also, if you have a common limited partnership, so an SCS or a special limited partnership, an SCSP that would be managed by a general partner in the form of a SAL, which would typically be the case when you set up a fund structure, even for these cases, to the extent that the general partner is a SAL, the managers of such SAL would also be bound by such duty not to disclose. We would, however, have an uncertainty if the general partner of such SCS or SCSP is not a SAL or an SA, and if it's a private individual or another form of company, we would have an uncertainty as to whether this Article 444/6 would be applicable in such case. So the question then arises, what would exactly be the sanctions if a manager or a director does not comply with these provisions? And there it seems quite clear that it's not a criminal sanction like this would be the case for a regulated entity or for a manager of an AFIM that would breach his professional secrecy rules. There we would typically have an express provision referring to the criminal code in Luxembourg. In this case, for ordinary companies, it would be more a civil liability that could be triggered. in accordance with civil law provisions and in accordance with the Luxembourg law on commercial companies. So it's not as strict as a breach of confidentiality rules in a regulated sector. But still, even if the liability of the managers or directors would be of a civil nature, you still have to be very careful when you are a manager of such a company that no disclosure takes place. And in practice, you have several cases where you really need to be careful. For instance, in shareholders' agreement, you typically would have some provisions where some managers would rather relate to one shareholder, other managers would relate to another shareholder, and the question then arises, can this manager refer some information or disclose some information to such shareholder to which he would be related? And the answer in this case would typically be no, as a matter of principle. So when you draft a shareholders agreement, this is something which must be very carefully drafted. So this is, in my view, what may be said in this respect. I hope this video was useful to you. There are other videos to follow on certain legal insights that we would like to give. And yeah, if you wish to have this information on an ongoing basis, you can follow our firm on LinkedIn and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Thank you very much.